Hello, and welcome again to another webinar series, Surviving COVID-19. I am your host, Rekeema Turnbull. If you can hear me, please send that message in the chat, or you can send a thumbs up. If you see my lips moving, hopefully you know that you cannot hear me and that you should probably log out and log right back in. What is Surviving COVID-19? Surviving COVID-19 is a webinar series that is geared to bring informative and insightful sessions to you that can help you throughout COVID-19. As we can all agree, none of us have the answers for COVID-19, and business leaders around the world are required to make decisions on a daily, or better yet, hourly basis. One thing for certain is that you are not alone, I am not alone, but together we are in this. Today's session is entitled Communicating with Customers, which is very important during these critical times. Our guest speaker today, Sofia, will give us some tips and insights on how we can effectively communicate with our customers during COVID-19 and beyond. But before we begin, let's jump right into a bit of housekeeping. Your audio will remain on mute with your video turned off so you can have a smooth presentation throughout. Questions will be accepted at the end of the presentation. And to ask any questions, you will be required to raise your hand virtually to be acknowledged. And this presentation will be available hereafter via our YouTube channel. About HireBVI. HireBVI was founded in 2015. We are a locally owned and operated company. Our services include human resources and business solutions, recruitment services, human resources consultancy, payroll services, career expositions, training programs, document processing such as work permits, and job advertisement board where you can advertise your job vacancies and they are accepted by the Labor Department.
So you're saying I can ask this cat any question?
The cat is connected to the computer. You just type in the question, it will read his mind. There the answer comes.
You're the man! I've been looking for this for weeks.
About your host. I am dedicated to seeing individual teams and organizations succeed. I have over 15 years of combined experience in various industries. My educational background includes a Master of Business Admin in Global Management, a Bachelor of Arts in Accounting, Level 7 Diploma in Strategic Management and Leadership, a 6 Sigma Green Belt certification, and I'm also a Certified Business Continuity Manager. Currently, I serve as the Managing Director of HireBVI, as well as the Finance, HR, and Admin Manager of CCT. Special thanks to Broadsword Communications. Broadsword Communication is a BVI resident company since 1998. Broadsword offers a full range of marketing communication services to a select client base, ensuring prompt and dedicated attention to all projects. The company has the tools and know-how to build an effective communications campaign to reach relevant markets, build relationships, and cultivate connections. Broadsword Communication work as part of a client's team to develop fully integrated strategies that will deliver results. This company can be engaged on a single project and provide ongoing support in any of their service areas. Broadsword Communications work locally and internationally, and have earned a reputation for being dedicated, detail-oriented, and discreet. Today, our presenter is Sofia Faye. Sofia became a partner in Broadsword Communication in 2008 and provides PR support to a wide range of clients. Her specialization is in conceptualization, development, and execution of integrated media and public relations campaigns and corporate event management. Sofia undertook a postgraduate course in 1990 and has been working in marketing and PR industry in the UK and Caribbean since 1991. I now present to you your presenter, Sofia Faye.
Good afternoon. If you can let me know that you can see me, Rekeema, perhaps let me know if I'm on.
Definitely, you are on. I can see and I can also hear you loud and clear.
Thank you. Well, good afternoon, and thank you, Rekeema, Turnbull, and HireBVI for inviting Broadsword Communications to be part of the Surviving COVID-19 series. It's a great tool which is aimed at helping the community to manage and plan life according to the continuously evolving landscape that we've having to face with this new pandemic. Indeed, when the new pandemic, the new virus, COVID-19 virus was announced as a pandemic, it threw everything and everyone into a state of uncertainty. And there was haste to tackle the threats to the nation's health systems, which resulted in governments implementing policies that affected every aspect of our lives. There was little opportunity for any of us to plan for anything, whether it was for the short, medium, or long term. Businesses, employees, and customers quickly had to come to grips with and adapt to a world that changed dramatically and seemingly changed overnight. And we experienced this firsthand. We had to become very adaptable. And besides the concern to protecting our health and to preventing the spread amongst our community and hoping that our relatives and families and friends abroad are safe, the prevailing question for everyone, no matter whether you're a business owner or a customer, is what happens next? How do we move forward? And what does the new regular look like? Again, the new regular, as mentioned before, is shifting and evolving as we have to do with this virus. But gradually, governments here around the world are gradually revealing plans to reopen the market and to kickstart economies. And the global decisions actually will also have an impact locally. So apart from the local planning that's happening with government, we've got what's happening globally that's going to affect a lot of our industries, including the tourism sector, which is a major pillar of our economy here. But we also turning our attention to the local impact of the mandates and protocols that are being put in place as governments slowly allow businesses to reopen. So during this evolution and the introduction of new mandates, your audience, we make up customers of another entity. If you do, it's not just about your customers per se, but don't forget that you yourself are a customer of another business or service. But we're constantly looking and watching and listening for the latest relevant updates and news to help us project and plan for the future of our businesses and our personal lives. So if we consider what it is that we're looking for, what do we hope to get when in our search. It's not just about how many deaths and how many confirmed cases and how many recoveries, but we're also looking more to what does this mean for me, besides that external news, is sifting through that to find the information that's relevant to you and to determine how that external information is going to help you plan what you need to do and how you're going to continue to serve and provide for your customers, or indeed receive supplies from your supplier. So intelligent communication is critical to provide clarity in a time of confusion. So what I mean by intelligent communication is that you have a plan as to what you want to say to your customers. It's clearly going to be based on the product or service that you offer, but that plan is also going to be impacted by what happens externally. So you need to take some time to consider the impact of any external developments on your business and customers, and make sure that your message is crafted according to that the projection that the changes have caused on your business. So because you need to accurately inform your customers what they need to know regarding your business. And there's enough news out there for them to decipher what to do with their other aspects of their life. So you're just informing them about your business, the changes to your business. So when you get the messaging right, you keep it clean and clear, you want to make sure that you create a loyalty that you are a good source. You want to gain their trust and loyalty that money can't buy. So if we move on to the building trust slide, the importance of building trust is that you want your customers to know that what you're saying is reliable. You need to make sure that you speak with one voice and use only one reliable bulletin board, for want of a better word. So if there's two or more of you in your business who are entitled to communicate directly with customers, make sure that they understand what it is that you are saying with one voice. You don't want conflicting or contradictory information coming out. And to avoid this, because people will always inject their own tone or opinion into communications, there is a risk of that, is that you would direct people to one place where you regularly keep them updated on whether it's hours of service, the products that you have in stock or that you're running low on, if it's a supply chain, anything that is relevant to your business that they need to know, changes to protocols for when they come to the store or come into your business, how they communicate with you. All of that should be available on one location, and this location ideally should be on your website, so it could be a dedicated page. And any communication should always direct your customers to there. But once that is there, your customers will always know that if there's been a change in government policy that may affect your business, they can go to the bulletin board and they can see how that has impacted what you're able to supply and how and when. Try not to flip-flop. Whilst we have to be fluid with the evolving changes and mandates, try and communicate on topics that you know are less likely to change than things that might change. If you are making an announcement which is beyond your control, like the opening hours, for example, or protocols that are in place, you make sure that you add the caveat. So make sure that you include when the stores are open, but that these might change, how many people are allowed in, to a store at any one time or into your business, but this might change. So make sure that you're consistent and be transparent with what you do and don't know. If you're not sure, either don't talk about it or make sure that you say, as far as we are aware, this is what we are going to be doing. Don't try to predict or guess the future unless you're absolutely sure of the outcome. Because it's very hard to claw back trust. If you speak with conviction and you become the voice of trust or the body of trust, if you have two or more inconsistent or false information going out there that you're trying to correct, very quickly you're going to lose the trust. And be prepared to answer the questions and provide information that you can stand by. So don't provide feel good or answers that you think that the customer wants to hear. Be honest and make sure that you can stand by what you've offered. So if it's a promise to get a product by them in 2 days, make sure that you can do that. If it's not possible, give them a feasible timeline in which to expect it, or let them know that you will update them as soon as you have more information. You need to be relevant with your communication. So you need to know your target audience. Because there are internal communications and external communications. So what you're going to say to your staff, your shareholders, your directors is a slightly different message to what you're going to communicate with your customers and your media. So it's not one message fits all. So know who it is that you're communicating with and what it is that you want them to take away from your message, and make sure that you craft your message accordingly. We'd like you to be the authority on your business. By that, it means you want people to know that they can trust your advice because you are the authority on your business, and you should be honed up on your industry and perhaps on what's happening externally that's going to impact your industry and service. Present the facts and only use content and updates as they relate to your business or service. Again, there's so much noise, but you want to be speaking about your service, your products, and your industry. So make sure that your updates on your bulletin board or however you're messaging, make sure that it relates to your business or service. You need to be accurate with the facts that you're presenting, and you can speak about what you know that is within your control. If you are going to refer to third-party information, do your research and only use verified sources. So try and avoid hearsay. You need to be able to substantiate anything that you're presenting as fact. Again, this goes back to being able to back up what you say and what you present. So if you're going to quote or base a policy or decision on an external source, make sure that that's a verified source. And if you're going to refer to it on your communication platform, whatever that is, make sure that it's a verified source. Be sensitive, because this has impacted people in all sorts of ways. There are folks who are perhaps not sure quite whether they have a job or not and how they're going to make the ends meet. There are people who may have family abroad who are suffering. There is a variety of reasons why people are scared right now at this time of uncertainty. So be sensitive in your communication, but be succinct when talking about your business. You don't need to spend too much time over empathizing, but be sensitive and get to the point of your communication. Be clear in your communication. Be clear on the key message in each communication and provide the context. Don't assume that the people who are receiving your communication know the status quo of your business or the status quo of government policies. So give a little bit of background and bring people up to speed so that anyone who lands on your communication or receives your communication has the background story and know the context in which you're presenting this latest update. So that will help anyone new to your brand or your service understand exactly what it is that you're talking about, and it makes it easier for them to connect and engage with you rather than having to search all around the place to find where it is, what it is you're referring to, or what the previous information was. Be current, communicate regularly when you have something to say, but avoid noise. Don't bring too much. When I talked about context earlier, don't bring too much of the external information that you're relying on or referring to, on the basis that if you're communicating with your local market here, many people would have been tuned in and there will have been news reports in there. So you keep that context there, but don't dwell too much on it, because that's not your communication, your message about your business. Date your communication. So on the bulletin board, make sure that your updates are dated, because these are fluid times. And especially if you're talking about policy changes or refund policies, cancellation policies, or opening hours, anything that may impact how your customers interact with you. Make sure you date them, because what you don't want to happen is people saying, oh, well, I did see a post that said I could come in, or that business was open at 9. And in fact, that switched to 10 o'clock. So trying to find which communication was for what period of time is kind of essential at this time when we're being fluid. So how do you communicate all these informations? What are the communication platforms and tools that you can use to get the message out to your customers? There's a whole range from websites to social media platforms, email, broadcast and radio, print, online advertisements and announcements, press releases. There are any number of ways to get the message out to your customer base. So it's wise to plan which communication method you're going to use. And you're going to have to plan this according to your resources, because the things take time. And if you're employing someone to do it, you need to make sure that what the length of time that they spend doing it works for you and your customer base. So I mentioned about a bulletin board, which should be on your website. And it's a company website is the first place your target audience, your market is going to go to search for information. So whether they do a search for your product or service, or whether they know your business and they're going to look for your business, they're going to be hoping to land on a website which is going to give them all that they need to do, whether it's contact information or product information, or a contact person within your business, if you're a large firm. So make sure that you have a bulletin board if you don't have one already, where you can have it labeled as COVID-19 updates in the menu option, and place in there what they need to know about any updates pertaining to your business. If you don't have a website, because a lot of small businesses may not think that a website is necessary. In fact, it should be your first thing that you should consider setting up when you start your business. It doesn't need to be complicated. It doesn't need to be expensive. There are a lot of free or inexpensive platforms out there and templates that you can choose from to build a simple website. It could be a single page website with your contact information, but you should have one so that people can at least find you, find the contact information and product information or service information if you can stretch to creating the pages for it. When you have the website, make sure that you select a server with a secure hosting plan, because you don't want to be hacked. Make sure it's clearly branded, and you can include multiple pages or keep it a single page. But either way, it's the face of your company, and it should instill confidence in the integrity of the business or the organization. Again, if you're posting anything that's from a third party, make sure that you verify it and the links, because this page, whether it's the landing page or your special COVID bulletin board page, is where you're going to be sharing your communications, ideally with the various other platforms. So if we move on to other platforms in which you can communicate, there are numerous ways that we can communicate with our customers. There's social media, instant messaging, email communications. These are the sort of the ones which we have control of. So if we're looking at the social media and email aspects of it, when you choose which platform you're going to create or use for your business account, make sure it's a platform that your customer base uses. And remember that you should do your research on each of the platforms, because it's not a cookie cutter situation where you post one message on Facebook, say, and share it as is on Twitter, unless your word count fits in with the Twitter requirements. Instagram, and if you're doing LinkedIn. So know what format and how your audience reacts and engages with that particular platform, so that you can tailor and customize your message for each platform accordingly. Keep your business accounts professional and avoid posting personal opinions. When you're posting as well, make sure that it's engaging content. It's not a straightforward photo with a discount price or a product price, or let it tell a story. And you want to create something that is going to cause someone to either click a link onto the latest update, or it will want to make them share your content with someone else that might be interested in the product. One thing to note with social media is that this is a brand building, brand awareness tool. You shouldn't rely on it as your sole advertising platform. This is where you are building customer loyalty and engagement, rather than relying on it to sell your product. You want them to be aware of it, rather than expecting that people are going to immediately come into your shop to buy whatever it is you've promoted on that channel. So if we look at the next slide, you'll see that's the sign of the email. So while you can use social media platforms to share engaging and informative videos, photos, event announcements, you can set up event pages and competitions and so on to keep them engaged. As I said, avoid using these as the main repository for your news and updates. You'll publish them on your website and post links for that information. Communicate directly with your customer via email. And moving on to the next slide, you'll understand that why you should look at using email if you don't already do so, or perhaps increasing the frequency with which you use email. Because you might be certain that some of your market are heavy users of the social media platforms, whatever they are, Instagram, Snapchat, Messenger, but you'll be interested to know that 73% of millennials prefer communications from businesses to come via email. So their social media platforms are really for their personal entertainment and connecting with their friends and catching up with friends. So if you have anything that you want them to be aware of about your brand or product, use the email communication there. In the next slide, you'll see that 78% of marketers have seen an increase in email engagement over the last 12 months. So I think from your own personal experience, you may find that whatever social media platform you go onto, you have a lot of news, a lot of information that was fed onto your timeline, and you may scroll through, but you don't necessarily stop on a business chat, which is a business feed that may be talking about a product or service that's not relevant to you at that time. You may be looking more for updates from your friends or what's going on from other news sources. So, you know, use yourself as a gauge to understand how you interact with other businesses when they make announcements on Facebook. So understand why this figure is so high at 78%, going to their emails and or looking for their emails for communications from businesses. So if you go on to the next slide of the stats, you'll see that one of the other reasons that you should perhaps direct some of your resources towards creating and building your email communications is that there is an average open rate of 22.86% versus 6.5% of an organic reach on, say, a platform like Facebook. So whilst you may think you have a huge number of followers on your page, or you might be sharing it to various community boards, your message isn't going to get that as much traction as if you were communicating directly with them by email. So the next slide is no matter which, as I mentioned before, which platform you use, one message doesn't fit all. Understand the purpose and reach of each platform and tailor it accordingly, but keep the key message consistent and link it back to a credible source. Now, you can also use the built-in tools on your social media platforms, for example, to analyze and see which of your posts have been seen the most engagement. That tool also, certainly on the Facebook Insights, can also help you see where you stand amongst your competitors. So looking at your posts as well, you can see which was the most engaging. You may realize that actually your 30-second video saw a lot more virality and engagement than perhaps a straightforward copy message. So be aware, you can always go back and see which of your communication styles and content. Play around, don't be afraid, don't stick to one style. You can always see what works best and revert to that. Mix it up, don't make it boring, make it engaging. So don't feel restricted, but also see what works for your customer base. But that said, you'll see in the next slide that again, planning your resources and time, do bear in mind that only 5.5% of page followers will see your post on Facebook. So don't assume that once you've posted something on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter, that it's going to be seen by everyone that's followed and liked your page. So bear that in mind again when you're planning the resources and how you're spending your time, which platforms you're using to communicate your message. So if we move on to this one is the instant messaging and phone calls. So monitor incoming messages. So whether it's a comment or it's a direct message, or whether it's live chat on your website, reply in a timely manner. If an inquiry needs a response that's a bit more involved, or you need further input from the customer, don't be afraid to ask if you can call them, because that way you get a clearer picture of what exactly it is they're looking for, and you can better help them. It also is a great way for you to create a relationship with that customer. Rather than text, because you have a voice, you have a contact, it makes it easier for you to keep up that communication and provide them with what the help that they're needing, the product that they're looking for. It helps with customer retention, acquiring customers, and building that relationship. But with regards to WhatsApp, Messenger, and texts, try not to use that too much to announce or use that as your main communication platform. People and yourself, you will probably know this, that you're inundated with texts and WhatsApp messages and so on. And you don't want to be flooded with messages about, coming from businesses. So leave those for direct communication with your customer, or if it's you have a group set up, just to communicate what's relevant or important, what's changed. Is use them for instant important announcements or direct communications with the client, if that's how they're communicating with you at that time. We move on to newsletters. So these are the same as emails. They're a great way to communicate the latest updates or promotions directly to your customer base. Make sure that you have a current database that's compliant with marketing permissions, so it doesn't get reported as spam. Decide on the purpose of the communication and plan the content, and knowing that whoever is going to be receiving this email is going to be receiving hundreds and hundreds of newsletters or emails. So stay on point, include a prioritized summary of key information as it relates to your business, and include a link back to your website, or if it's an event and you have an event page set up, link it back to that page, but keep that message in your newsletter fairly brief. So if they're interested in that particular topic, they can click on the link and find out more. So when you're summarizing, make sure that it's interesting and exciting enough for them to want to click on it. We see that there were some stats which showed that business people receive 121 emails a day. They're exposed to an average of 247 marketing messages a day. And actually their attention span is also very low. So that's why it's important to make sure that you have succinct headlines for them to go to. Also remember that 61.9% of emails are opened on mobile devices, so make sure that your newsletter is optimized for mobile viewing, or you risk it being deleted without it being read. Again, also remember that emails are can be sent as private and confidential, or they can be generic. So whatever your messages are in that email and communication, make sure it's courteous, professional, and sign off with your basic contact information so that they can contact you whenever. And finally here, when we come to other platforms such as advertisements, press release, media, and announcements, look at the platforms that you're going to use, whether it's radio, TV, online, print. And when you're doing your ad placements, use as many as you can, because all of this whole mix is a mix that you should be using, not picking one over the other as your sole form of communication. Try and get as many as you can into the mix for your communications with your customers. And advertisements can also help, but choose the medium, the platform that you're going to place your adverts according to where your customers tend to go or tune into. So do your research. Plan your media buying, know what your budget is. You can get a calendar from the publications to find out what topics they're going to be covering, if it's a monthly or weekly, and make sure that you either place an advert or pitch a piece, an article to be included in that month's publication once you have that calendar, and you can also place a relevant ad which suits that topic, especially if you're a business that caters to that offers a wide variety of services or products that match the topics covered by that particular outlet. So do plan your media, but have a budget in place, and also plan the campaign to make sure that you have consistency in your messaging and the look and feel and branding of that ad, whether it's a verbal or it's a graphic design. Press releases. Now, remember that a press release isn't a place to advertise your business. Media is inundated with articles that are sent to them every day. And they're not interested in puff pieces or feel-good articles. So make sure that the release that you're going to generate is newsworthy. Make sure you find the right angle in what it is that you're trying to say that's going to engage with the readership. So know the press, the media to who you're sending this press release, know what their readership is. And if you have to tweak your press release to suit that particular audience, if you want the journalist to pick it up, then make sure that it's suitable for the platform or the outlet that you're sending it to. If a journalist picks up your article, be prepared to answer any or questions that they have for you. The last thing that you want is for a journalist trying to contact you for more information and to be shunned or to be told no comment. So whatever you put in there, and as soon as you reach out to journalists, be prepared that they may contact you. You may choose to have a preset Q&A in place so that you can preempt what they may ask you about the topic you've sent out, but be prepared to answer them. If you say you're going to call them back, call them back. If you have an irate journalist, that's not going to help your future placement or how they project your business. Also understand they're not obliged to print your press release, if at all, and also bear in mind that they can adapt it or pick an angle from it and write their own article based on what you've sent out. So don't expect that once you send the press release out, they're going to just post it up there piecemeal. A good journalist will investigate and will contact you. So that in the allocated time is what I'm able to share with you on communication platforms, how you can communicate with your customer. But primarily just know your audience, know your customers, know what you want to say, and make sure that what you say to them is relevant to your business and to creating engagement. And if you want them to buy in, try and get to that stage where you're communicating with them directly, and understand which each of the platforms you're using, understand the purpose of it, the reach, so that you don't get disappointed if you don't find that you're shifting, you're seeing an increase in business because you spent all this time writing this post or placing this ad. It is a mix of everything. So plan to spend a little bit of time on as many of the platforms as you can. And I wish you all the best with your endeavors, and I wish you success. And if you are in need of some further information or assistance or some help with planning, feel free to contact me. My email, as you see on the slide, is there. And you can also give me a call if there's anything that I might be able to help you with. While it's not rocket science, it does require some help and expertise and planning when you're communicating about your business. So all the best and thank you. Ready for any questions.
Thank you so much for that, Sophia. That was quite an informative session. I did enjoy it, and I hope others on the call enjoyed it as well. I think it's very important that we understand our target audience, like you mentioned numerous times. We have different target audience, although we may sell the same product or similar products. The target audience could vary, as you've mentioned, and understanding those target audience is very important as to the way that you communicate with them. Some may use social media, some would prefer email, but you have to know what your target audience use so you can get in touch with them definitely. So thank you so much for that. Do we have any questions or comments from any of our listening audience or viewing audience at this time? Is there anyone that want to give a comment or ask any questions? If you like, you can also put your questions in the chat and I can read them for you. I see I have a raised hand.
Hello, good afternoon, everyone.
Hi, Sally. Good afternoon.
How are you?
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much once again to HireBVI and to Broadsword and to you, Mrs. Faye. That was a very comprehensive look at this particular topic. I particularly enjoyed it as well. My question actually has to do with identifying who your customers are and how you actually find that information. So me personally, and I'm probably the only one on the planet, I am not a Facebooker, for instance. I'm not registered on it. And so I'm curious from my perspective, how do companies know who their customers actually are? Who is their target audience?
Well, thank you, Sally. I'm not sure if you are asking specifically about your business or this is a general question. And I imagine you're talking about potential customer base, because if you have a business, brick and mortar business or an online business, if you don't already do so, you should do your best to capture their email and contact information. Again, as I mentioned earlier, emails are the best way to communicate directly with your customer. They are valuable, they are gold. So for your existing customer database, you should try and find a way of capturing that their email addresses so that you can continue build your email contact with them. And build on that database so that your newsletters and communications can spread. So that's one way of knowing who your existing customer base is. So if you're a brick and mortar organization, let's say if you are a shop, you kind of get a general feel of who is coming in and out of your store. And again, depending on what product or service it is that you're offering. Before you started that business, you had an idea of who you are pitching, with this product or service exists because there's been a gap in that market and you've seen an opportunity where it's a skill or talent that's been used that you know people are looking for. So you already have an idea of who your target audience is. So I don't know if you want to specify a bit more about how do you identify them, unless you mean where do you find them? How do you know where they are? It does involve a little bit of a psychology, but if you started your business or you're providing your product for a particular audience with a particular audience in mind, so it's I think it's a matter of perhaps looking at competitors and seeing where movement and traffic is coming from to try and understand where they are, and that will also help define where to reach them. If you're mainly professional business services, then you should probably be looking at LinkedIn accounts and LinkedIn marketing, as well as direct marketing and your website, making sure that your search engine optimization is up to speed, so that if people are tapping in a particular service, they're going to find your website. It pops up in one of the top 3, 4, 5, 10, whatever it is, so that they can get to you. Once they've come to you, there are various ways of capturing their details. Again, their direct contact is gold. So I'm not sure if I've answered your question, or if you have a specific angle or question or more specific aspect to that question that I can answer.
Actually, you did partially answer it. My angle was that since I am not a Facebooker and the world seems to be entirely focused on gathering information and data sets based on these online platforms, it seems that you're definitely at a disadvantage if you're not on these platforms, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, etc. So I was wondering if there is a huge disadvantage to not being on those platforms. And it's not necessarily for my business, it's a general question. If there's definitely a disadvantage, or if an email platform alone could actually satisfy what you need.
Yeah, I think if you can mix it up, again, depends what you're offering. I think if you're, for example, if you're a service provider like a trust company or a law firm, then really your posts are going to be, if you're going to be using a social media platform, like I said, it should be the LinkedIn to reach your audience. If you're using Facebook, it's primarily for sharing sorry, I just got a message to say never mind. Yeah, so with the social media like Facebook and Twitter, those are usually for posting perhaps social activities, CSR activities that have been happening. Twitter is also used for professional purposes. If you've got a particular case that you want to make sure that your professional contacts are aware of, you would use Twitter. So it's worth looking at LinkedIn and Twitter if you're not on those platforms. Social media, again, if you're a service provider, more for social activity.
Thank you so much.
Thank you for the question, Sally. Thank you, Sophie. Do you have any other questions? No, we are a bit quiet today. Any questions? Anyone want to give a comment, questions? Okay, thank you so much, Sophie. That was a very informative session. I did enjoy it, and I'm quite sure that others have enjoyed it. You must have been crystal clear because we don't have any other questions right now. So again, thank you, and I'll be concluding.
Thank you very much for having had me on your series. Much appreciated.
Thank you.
Stay safe, everyone.
Thank you, Sophie. I encourage you all to download the HireBVI app. It's one way that we also get our information out there. We do have an app for that. It is free. It is found in your Google Play Store and also your iTunes Store, your Apple Store rather. So we are out there with an app for that. And like I said, we do give some information out on our app. Thank you so much for tuning into our session. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn at HireBVI. You can contact us at 284-442-4473. You can email us info@hirebvi.com, and we are also on the web at hirebvi.com. This session, like many others, will be placed on our YouTube channel, so we are on YouTube as well. You can check out our YouTube page for this session and the previous sessions. Again, together we will survive COVID-19. Today's Friday. Stay safe and see you next Friday. Bye.